Hey guys, it's Karl. Another year, another season of iPhones. I've got the brand new iPhone 14 in hand right here. This is just a very quick unboxing of the new one in blue. I think we all saw the keynote last week. We all know the features. I'll go through those. If you have any questions about the new iPhone, let me know as I quickly unbox this. But the box design, exactly the same as we've seen for the last couple years, nice and slim because we don't really have anything else inside. I've seen some rumors of countries actually bashing Apple for not including a charging brick and demanding that they have at least a USB-C charger, but that's a discussion in its own. We will quickly do this unboxing. Those tabs come off, and flipping up the front, we see the brand new 14 in this really nice blue colorway. So this is one of the unique color options this year. So of course you have the standard ones like Midnight, Starlight, Purple, Product Red, and of course this new blue. And I had to bring the iPhone 13 in blue side by side, and it just pretty much looks like it is a pastel lighter version of this phone. They have the exact same form factor, the exact same pretty much design, and a lot of the internals are the same as well, which we'll get to in a second. But inside of the box, I've waited all year to say this, designed by California in Apple. If you know this channel, you know what that means. Of course, you've got user manuals, warranty info, white Apple stickers, unfortunately nothing to match the blue, and still we are stuck on Lightning. So of course, Lightning to USB-C, and I was hoping that we would have seen a USB-C port on the iPhone 14s. Unfortunately, that is not the case, and that's actually not the case for the iPhone 14 Pro Max, which I have beside. We will get to those right after this video. So we will quickly take off this piece of white sticker, and the phone starts up. So setup process, super simple with all Apple stuff. I actually didn't set this up for my previous phone. I set it up as a new one. And the first thing that you see, this is more to do with iOS. We have a redesigned lock screen, so you can see some new updated designs on the front. You can actually change these by holding down on the home screen and hitting customize. So now you can add things like widgets, you can change font colors, you can interact with this as much as you want. Is that new? Is it revolutionary? Android has had that for pretty much forever, but I think it's a big hype when new things come to the iPhone. So it's nice to see. Personally, for widgets, I would probably just add battery and maybe my fitness rings, and that's pretty much it. And as we swipe up from the device, we can see a brand new iPhone. And honestly, at first glance, things look so similar. So in terms of the display, they're identical to the 13. So in terms of the display, exact same size as the 13, 6.1 inches, Super Retina XDR, still the same peak nip brightness at 1200. Normally you're getting at 800. And I quickly want to talk about the price. I think we should have started off with that probably first. It is still the same price for that 128 gig model, $799 as when the 13 came out. And actually the 13 is now $100 cheaper, both in the US and Canada, which doesn't make sense because our exchange rate is different. Canadians got a bit shafted there. So if you were to kind of choose between them, honestly, if you already own the 13, I don't see the reason to upgrade to the 14. But if you're coming from a lower end model or a lower end device, you have that $100 difference, and I might make a separate video on those, but stay posted. I guess you can decide if these features in the new 14 are worth it on your own. And in terms of the internals also, that's something that still stays the same. So we have the same A15 Bionic chip. The only difference for that silicone is we now have a 5-core GPU in the 14 and a 4-core GPU in the 13. So if you play a lot of graphic intensive games, and in honesty, every time that I've used the 13 in the past year, it's been able to handle everything. So maybe loading times might be slightly quicker, maybe graphic intensive tasks might be slightly better on the 14, but I honestly wouldn't probably notice the difference unless I had both. Once again, wait for that kind of comparison video. And technically there is also 2 extra gigs of RAM in the 14, so 6 gigs versus the 4 found in the 13. So there are obviously some hardware changes, just the main silicon chip, the A15 Bionic, is the same in both. For the displays as well, still no ProMotion like we see over on the Pro devices, so we're still stuck at 60 Hertz, and it is tough when you compare this to a lot of other Android phones that are going for way less. those usually have at least 120 hertz. I would have loved to have seen 120 hertz ProMotion on the standard 14. It's something that I think we all wished, and from some of the rumors, I think those were leading towards that, but unfortunately, we are still coming in at a very similar device. Of course, there are new features though. So for example, SOS calling with satellite is one of the brand new features, and they did focus a lot on safety from the keynote. So if you are someone that loves to go off the grid, for example, here in Canada, a lot of people love to go hiking, love to go off cell reception range, you can still make an emergency call, and other safety features like crash detection. So a lot of that is happening internally with the gyroscopes, with actually the accelerometer, and actually microphones can detect if you are in a crash, and that will place an automatic call just to make sure that you're safe. So obviously there's a ton of safety features that I think people will love, but in terms of overall performance, I would say they are very similar. And when we flip around to the back, once again, things are looking very similar. We still have these same 12 megapixel sensors. They are improved on the main camera, which has a larger aperture, but compared to the 14 Pros, which have that new 48 megapixel main, we'll get to those videos in a second. These, once again, look similar on paper, but there are some improvements, especially for low light. Those low light shots should be around 2.5 times better, but I think the main feature that I'm really looking forward to testing is their new action mode, which gives it a gimbal-esque stabilization. So if you think of action cameras like a GoPro, how silky smooth that footage is, just using your hand. I'll be testing that a ton. Maybe I'll go for a quick run outside and include some B-roll for you guys to see right now. Those are the main upgrades coming to the camera. And of course, on the front, I actually was wondering this when I was looking at the front-facing camera, even though we still have the same notch. Once again, the dynamic island coming to the 14 Pros is locked to those models. So the same notch, but you can actually see the camera module is slightly larger as well. So the front-facing camera now has autofocus, just means it should be better for a lot of social media content. A lot of people love to take selfies. A lot of people like to vlog nowadays with that front cam, using it for stuff like TikTok, for Instagram. I gotta up my game on those, but that should be now improved with the front-facing camera. And quickly before I forget, we also have cinematic mode 4K at 24 frames. So if any of you filmmakers out there like to use your iPhone, which honestly, the video on this is so good, you now have that option to shoot in cinematic mode, which I know a lot of people were asking for. And that is pretty much all of the upgrades coming to the new iPhone 14. Let me know which your fave feature is. Let me know which your fave color is. I really dig this blue. It's probably the one that I would get personally. And of course, I created a video yesterday on all the cases. So if you want to check that out, that is the brand new iPhone 14. Are there enough changes over the 13? Let me know down below. And of course, that video, that comparison, I can make separately as well. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Stay posted for iPhone 14 Pros, which will be the next video. I will leave that linked up this way. Catch you guys then. Peace.